Well, we've just been hearing that Hamas gunmen are still active in southern Israel, 48 hours on. I mean, this is extraordinary.
It beggars belief. I don't understand. I don't think anybody in Israel understands. We're all still in shock how this could possibly happen, and how 48 hours after, there's still 40 terrorists running around southern Gaza with the army, in hot pursuit. We don't really understand the scope of what's happened, and really the terrible massacre that's occurred in the last 48 hours.
I mean, do you consider this a security failure? Well, it is a security failure by the Israeli Defense Force.
We have a border. We left Gaza in 2005. It's actually a real border. We have the best technology in the world. We have a very strong army. We know how to secure our borders. Nobody understands what happened. And I think that after this whole nightmare is over, there will definitely be investigations to understand what exactly happened here.
Right, you are deputy mayor of this city. How worried are you about violence spreading here?
So we are a little worried, because the last thing we need is more fronts to deal with. There was threatening noises coming from the north, as you know. And here we know that there are some small Hamas sleeper cells waiting to attack. We've had a couple of scuffles over the last few days, but by and large, there's a big police presence, and we've kept things calm.
What do you mean, a couple of scuffles? Have there been contacts between the security forces and Hamas gunmen in Jerusalem?
Well, we don't know if they're Hamas or if they're another Islamist group, but there have been some hooligans trying to take advantage of the situation, and we've promptly calmed the situation down.
Now, there are those who say that while Hamas is in control in Gaza, and while you have this right-wing government in power here, that there's no chance of anything other than violence.
Well, what was the excuse all these years? What was the excuse when there were left-wing governments? This kind of right-wing government excuse is growing a little thin, because Hamas's charter says they want to destroy the state of Israel. Hamas's charter is anti-Semitic.
But it's been the most violent. It's been the most violent year.
It has.
2023 for 2 decades.
It has. I'm not quite sure if it's got anything to do with whatever government's in power. I think there's a bigger picture that we need to kind of zoom out and look at what's going on in Iran, and look at what's going on with Israel normalizing with Saudi Arabia. Why is it happening now? Isn't it a coincidence that we've got this kind of roadmap to normalization with Saudi Arabia? Which is the one country that doesn't want that? Iran. And so I don't think any of this is a coincidence. I think there are some big puppet masters involved, and I don't think we should minimize the bigger regional picture.
No, absolutely. That is true. But there are those who are clear, and they're saying that Palestinian grievances are fueling all this, and that this government has done very little to address the grievances, legitimate grievances, many would say, of the Palestinians.
Absolutely. In the last 3 months, this government has given unprecedented work permits to Gaza residents to come into Israel to work. Why do they need to come into Israel to work? Because there's no economy. Why is there a blockade? They also have a border with Egypt. Why doesn't anybody talk about that? The Egyptians block them more than Israel does. Israel brings in humanitarian aid. Israel brings in children for medical care. Israel gives work permits for Gazans to come in and work in Israel. We're doing way more than the Egyptians, and nobody talks about them blockading the Gazans.
Deputy Mayor, thank you very much
indeed.
Thank you.